Hello, I'm Chris Holmes. I'm an artist and certified Bob Ross instructor. I'd like to welcome you to our channel, Serenity in Color. Today, I'm from West Tennessee, I kind of want to do a scene that reminds me of Reelfoot Lake, maybe at sunset, or in your mind, it may be in sunrise. But I've already taped off a 16 by 20 canvas with 2-inch tape, and I've applied a thin, even coat of the liquid white. So with that, the colors we're going to be using today are titanium white, midnight black, dark sienna, Van Dyke brown, alizarin crimson, sap green, cadmium yellow, yellow ochre, Indian yellow, and bright red. And with that, let's just pick up the 2-inch brush and let's just have some fun. Now, I still got a little bit of liquid white on it, and I tried to wipe most of it out. So I'm going to take off first with a little bit of Indian yellow. And let's start right in there. And just kind of reflect some of it. Then I'm going to take and go into a little bit of cad yellow. Just tap it in them bristles. And pull some of that down there. And now, I'm going to kind of make an orangey color. So I'm going to take Indian yellow and bright red and just kind of orange it up a little bit. Maybe throw a little bit of cad yellow in there. Just want a real bright orange, like a sunset color. That's about what I'm looking for right there. Alright. Wipe off my old knife there. Let's pick up that 2-inch. Have some of that color in there. There we go. And let's just dance it in. Pull some of it down there. Like I said, what we don't want to be water, go and cover it up. And I'm going to tap back into that bright red with a little bit of Indian yellow. There. Then I'm just going to go straight into a little bit of bright red. Really want a really bright sky. We really got that one bright today. So I'm going to swap over and pick up a 1-inch now, and it's kind of a little hair there. Pick it up, corner my brush, and pick it off. Let's just blend this together. Just looking for something really bright today. Down here at the bottom, we just want to kind of blend that all together. Alright, and now I'm going to take my index finger, and I think I'm going to have a sun right there. Like I said, in my mind, this is a sunset. You could paint it as a sunrise, or you wouldn't even, if you didn't want to, you don't have to put a sun circle. Scratch that off. Pick up the old 1-inch again and just kind of set him in there. Now, we got to have some clouds. So, for that, let's take a little bit of that bright red A little bit of that Indian yellow mixture. It's a real pretty color. Let's lay in some real pretty clouds today. And we'll start right there. Ooh, that's a brown one. Just blend him up, let him come off the canvas. I am certainly glad you joined me today. If you ever get a chance here in the Henderson area and like to take a class with us, look us up. SerenityInColor.com and our Facebook page, Serenity in Color. We got prints available now. If you like something you see here, let us know. Everything we paint will be on the website. I've got the privilege to meet a lot of great people. And I met my wife at the Bob Ross School up there in Muncie. Art really has changed my life. So every day I get to paint's a good day. Keep covering up there. We're gonna have a whole bunch of clouds, but I really want a really bright sky today. So painting like this really just warm up the heart. Alright. And see, I'm blending down on the clouds there. Just blending downward. We're going to blend the base, and I'm just going to flick the tops up. For a second it'll look kind of like it's raining upward. And we'll set them down in there really good. Anna says, it's like for ladies, it's, doing their lashes. Just gonna pull them up real pretty, pick them up, and gently across. Alright, I'm gonna pick up another number 3 fan. I got a little crimson. I wanna just kind of give it a little pinkish hue, a little hair there. Just warm it just a little. Give a little highlight. Wherever you think the sun is directly striking them clouds, that's where you want them highlights. Alright. Swap back over. Got that old 1 inch. Same procedure, just kind of blend the bottoms. Pull them top, gently set them over. Let's build another layer. For that, I'm going to grab my old knife there. Pull that orange color out of the way, get a place to work. I'm going to take a little bright red and yellow ochre. Put in a little bit of cad yellow with it. Kind of looking for maybe a peachy color. Too bright. Let's try again. Cad yellow, a little bright red. Sometimes you just gotta play with it a second to get it where you want it. I'm gonna use that same old brush. Let's go on up and see what we got. Oh yeah, a little golden. There, bring it in there. There we go. That's a pretty color. little streakies in there. There we go. Go back to 1 inch area. Gently clean those bases out. Pull the tops. Beat out the brush. This one, same thing. There we go. And real quick, let's throw a few highlights on it. All right. Just wherever you think they need to be. Just remember your sun placement there. So if it's the clouds are above it, you want your highlights to be more toward the bottom of your clouds. Then if the cloud is below it, you want to try to get it where the highlight is on top of the cloud. This is very few you want. But you see as I work back on the cloud, I kind of let it pick up the original cloud color. As few you want. There we go. And over here. There we go. Don't want him left out. And a little bit more right there. Go back to my brush I was blending with. Just blend that all together. Blend the base of it. Fluff them up. Gently. Barely touching. Like an airplane is just about to hit the runway and he decides, nope, we're going to take off. We're going to circle the airport. So, there we go. And we got us a really bright sky today. So now, I'm going to pick up the old half round oval. I'm going to go into a little Van Dyke Brown Dark Sienna first, then we're going to get into a little Midnight Black. Make some distant trees there. So, and let's see, first one, be kind of right in there. Grab a little Midnight Black. On the edge, kind of bring him up just a little taller. Some of that down. There we go. And a little bit of that down in there too. And I love this brush. It's so fun making trees with it and the foliage. There we go. And let's see, right there. There's some background stuff. Switch over to a clean 1 inch. Beat the bristle. I was going to pull down some reflections. There we go. There's some background stuff going on back there. There we go. Beat my brush gently. Level straight. bit of misty stuff going on back there. Pull down. There we go. And gently across. Alright. Let's put in an indication. A few little trunks and stuff in the trees way back there. Here and there. Then comes off the canvas over there. See, maybe there's a dead tree there. You are in there. We need to come on into the foreground in a minute. Before we do that though, pick up my old knife and a little bit of liquid white, a little bit of that orange color we made. And I put in a bit of water line back in there. Just rub it in. There we go. Take now, let's go on to that midnight black. And let's see, we need a little island land going on right there. Over. And over here, let's see. Oh yeah. Big old tree is right there. Just straight midnight black. Fan brush there, run through some midnight black. Still got that orange and white on it, that's okay. Put us in a tree trunk. There, maybe. We got one going on over here. Indication maybe. Flexion down there. And it wouldn't be Reelfoot if there wasn't a tree living down in the water. Back there. We'll straighten all that up there in a second. Alright. Go back to here. Go through some of that midnight black, that grayish color because of the white that was on the fan brush. And in the water. These paints, just use your imagination. Just have fun with it. Right there. There we go. Maybe one more little limb right there. And over here, we'll sharpen him up a little bit. kind of pull some of that down for reflection again. Pull some of that down as well. We'll sneak in back in up in there. There we go. Get that brush out a little bit better. There we go. A little cold right there. There we go. Alright. Go back to our purifier with that water line. Push that little dead tree on back there a little bit. Look at bass jumped right there. Alright. Take a little band out brown dark sienna. That's all. Gotta have somewhere to see it. Take a little dark cyan white. Put a little bit of orange in there, just kind of warm it up a little bit. There we go. Light striking it. Oh, that's beautiful. That's pretty. Just you here and there. Back to my liquid white. Here and there and there and here. Let's take down. Grab that old 1 inch there with grab that orange and white. And that black. A few highlights on that tree. I'm even throw a little green. We're getting kind of where we can kind of see a little bit better. More defined. Just a few of the light striking the old tree there. Beautiful little sunset on the tree. There we go. Green. Mix that orangey color. And come over the limbs. There we go. And down. There we go. Right there now. I'm gonna go into cad yellow and sap green and that orange color. Down here now. Lowest foot tree. There we go. Over here, this is a little bit brighter. See what that does. Ooh, look at that. Really pops there. Just play with color. Play with it. There we go. Alright. Now we need to do something in the foreground. For that, let's go back over to the brush with the midnight black, the midnight brown, dark sienna. let's just have some fun. Pull that down. You know what? Let's take some that light brown. Maybe there's an indication of the old fence. Maybe Mother Nature come on the side. She's gonna come on up in there just a little bit more. Use my small edge of my knife. Maybe there's just a little bit of that one left. That's a whole broke one right there. Just make up stories. Have fun with it. Let's see, take a little sienna, titanium white, a little bit of orange. Come up that way. Use a small edge, just a reflection. Just putting in some, rubbing in some dark color. I want some reflections in there. Alright. Dark sienna, titanium white, that orange. A few highlights on it. Liquid white. Flat on the hill of night. Maybe they steal a strand or two. Still hanging on in places. Oh, they're so much fun to make. Alright, let's go back over that 1 inch. Just kind of distort that a little bit more. There we go. Beat out my brush. Alright, now we need some highlights and stuff down in here. For that, I'm going to go into a little bit of cad yellow. What's that? Colors. Just warm colors. Let's pick up a little bit of orange color. I can't help it, it's so pretty. Ooh, a real bright one right there. Okay, yellow. Something for all that to sit on, or it's just gonna float away on us. So take a little bit of wet land right there. Maybe the old road sunk away. Dark sienna, titanium white. Liquid white. Putting a little water on the fence there, fence post. Let's see, a little bit more. Around our land mass there. Just up in there. this is an old road. It's going to kind of travel off in there. It might have been a little bit of a kind of a path. Let's come right here. Go back to our highlight there. The other side green, cat yellow. If you painted with me before, you know I love to break the border, so just take and pull off. And you see it's already in like a pretty frame, but I gotta come out of that. I'm gonna go back into midnight black, midnight brown, dark sienna, and I'm just gonna come on over here. I gotta do it. It's one of these things I love to do in these paintings. A lot of dark. Okay, there we go. Let's go into midnight black, midnight brown. And let's put us an old pine tree, maybe. He washed out. He ain't doing too good. So he got waterlogged. Just happened down. Just happened. Take a little of that white, that orange on that same old fan. Warm that one side up a little bit. You can pick up just a little bit, touch of bright red toward the bottom. Ooh, look at that. Pretty highlight. Go back to that white. That black on the back side kind of. If you're familiar with pine trees in the south, they kind of grayish. Old bark falls off of them. Alright. Let's see here. Let's get those strip liner real quick. Through some of that grayish color we made. Let's just kind of put a limb or two on him. Maybe there's one coming up. He'll go off. We don't know where. Through there. There's few as you want. There we go. I'm gonna go back to that dirty fan with that dark on it. Pick up some not black, but not brown. It's kind of like you're making a smiley face. Over the limb, just kind of. Alright. Go back to fan brush, a little orange on it, pick up a little sap green, cad yellow, little liquid white, just kind of thin it down. Because our golden rule is a thin paint, stick to a thick paint. Go up now and just kind of flash in. You highlight here and there. Pick up a little of that orange color too. Ooh, that's pretty. Move that side up a little bit. Back to our nice around his feet. Kind of a bright red. Oh, pretty. I can tell my students, I try to save that bright red toward the end of my paintings. Because once you hit it, unless you can have another brush going, it'll take over. But you get some pretty effects. You know what? We got a little bit. Let's take some that Van Dyke brown. Let's kind of throw in a little bit of dirt. Just a little bit. Yeah, the titanium white. But orange picked up in it. That's a happy accident. Look at that. That's pretty. There we go. Go back over to that brush with the dark color there. Just kind of set him down in there a little bit more. There we go. Yeah, let's grab just a little bit white. Go with some cad yellow. Ochre. Come up there. And I tell my students, I think of like a clock. I like to, at 12 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock, work around the clock. And my wife, Anna, she thinks of it like tells them like a fan, but it's like my eye doctor told me one time, you'll figure out the way to, like I was talking about putting my contacts in. I said, Dad does this way, you do it this way. He said, you'll find your way. Just like in this, you'll find which way works for you best. And when it does, it'll click one day, and you'll just there'll be so much you can do. It's so much fun. Well, all right, take the old knife. I'm gonna scratch in a few things. There's a tree there, two here and there. Here and there. And with that, I believe we got a finished painting for today. I'm going to sign that pretty orange. It's Tennessee orange right there, kind of. I always like to sign with the ear. I certainly hope you've enjoyed this one today. I've enjoyed being with you. And there again, if you like this painting, chances are to be on our website. Look it up at serenitycolor.com. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Serenity and Color. I've certainly enjoyed spending this time with you, and hope you have a great day, and God bless you. Can't wait to see you again.